We're here already. We're arriving at our second town. Look at this view. It's insane. I don't know if I'm wrong or what, but I think that would be our town. This would be our town. But like I said, I'm not sure if that's right. Alright, let's keep going. The adventure continues. Amagá, our third town. Alright folks, I'm going to show you the entrance to the town, what it's like after you leave the highway. This would be the entrance. From what I understand, Waze shows us that if we keep going straight, we'll get to the park. Let's see what it's like, what tourist spots Baja has. First impressions of the town, guys. It's actually a lot like Angelopolis. It's also a bit hilly, and then more hills, and even more hills. And well, we just finished heading to the park. Like I said, let's see what attractions this little town has. There are some streets that are a bit rough and others that are really narrow. But the rest is very nice. It's cool, folks. We've arrived. Let me show you the park. I think it's really beautiful. It's pretty big, and it looks very folkloric. Check out that little cart, and look at that gorgeous church. It's insane, honestly, it's stunning. I think it has an amazing decoration. I don't know what kind of architecture it is. I need to ask. Let's see if someone can tell us, but it's really awesome. And here we can see what the park is like. It also has some beautiful trees. Honestly, this little park is really lovely. I think later on all these little stalls around here will open up. Little shops. I'm not sure what they'll be selling, but it's really cool. The park is so pretty, with pigeon coops, little animals. I've seen lots of birds, some really interesting statues. And as always, the towns in our beautiful Colombia are surrounded by mountains. Just look at that. It's amazing. Let's see who we can interview. But honestly, folks, this park is just beautiful, really beautiful. People, I'm going to look for something to eat because I'm starving. Look at that church in the background. Wow, it's stunning. I'm going to find something to eat and see who we might be able to interview. Here we go, in Amagá. Alright folks, we just finished eating here. We've arrived at the library. Let's see what they can show us here and what information they can give us. It looks like I might be able to find, let's say, more historical information about the town. Here we can clearly see an image of a distinguished gentleman. I'll see if they can explain who he is to me later on, and a beautiful, verdant park. So, I am going to ask for some additional information.
Well, my name is Christian Audelo. I am the municipal librarian at the Miro Castos Public Library. This library has approximately 49 years of history, and it owes its name. Come, follow me over here, to this writer, who was a 19th century author, Restrepo. When he used the pseudonym Hugo Cass, he did so in order to write and spread his ideas in the newspapers of that time. He called himself Castos because, in a way, he became a figure who, due to what he wrote, could have ruffled some feathers in his time, since he leaned more toward liberal thinking. And right now, we are located in the History Center, and we set up these elements because, together with the government of Antioquia, We are currently recognized as the literary and cultural municipality of Antioquia. Jerigo Castos has therefore become a point of reference for us Amiganos, but also at the national level, since during his life he supported other well-known writers like Georgiak, who would eventually write La Mariazzo. He was a figure who, besides being a humanist, was also a politician and a miner, and he maintained open social relationships with his entire community. He was a full-time humanist who spent much of his time in Fuego de Amagá. But we embrace him at our core, not only because in the Mijo Cast Park, where he was born, we also in some way feel we owe it to him to recover his work and to spread it. The library then took on its name in mid-1977, in November 1976, from a decision to become a space for the community, for education, for everything that involves good practices not only in speaking, writing, and reading, but also in practices of coexistence, learning to read one another. So this is a mission we have, and beyond that, even more so today when technology, climate change, and the challenges of our times make us question how to keep on living. And this is something that a writer can help us with, projecting a healthy coexistence and a better way to resolve conflicts.
That's right. All right, folks, now we're going to
See,
the part about the archaeological museum.
this arrangement of the archaeological museum room, let's say, these are the ones we have in the P Library, for example, Ejplocasmus. Thanks to the efforts that have been made recently, this has become even more relevant today because, in a way, it helps us understand what our homeland was like, how it is being transformed in the face of current phenomena, nowadays, in this fourth generation, and how the territory is responding to another kind of dynamic, where we are rethinking our cultural identity, our idiosyncrasies, but also that ability to start weaving stories from the southwest, small ones to the southeast. Today, this is gaining great strength because all the communities have become empowered. We now have more activity in the region, both in tourism and culture, and these findings are, in a way, a testament from our ancestors. By providing that part of the rock, shaping the vessels, and all these discoveries, we have given them that rich value of cultural identity that we must cherish today. Focusing on this museum room and having this space in our library is also a way of telling tourists and visitors that they can come to libraries, to our library, to find knowledge, education, and also to take part in events that bring us together to foster a culture of peace. Because recognizing our history, in some way, also gives us the chance to move toward a new perspective for the future. That is the invitation, to recognize this museum room that weaves together stories in Surus 28. Belisario de Talo Cortaz is one of the most emblematic men of our municipality, not only for his political involvement, since he was president of the Republic during the period from 1982 to 1986. He was a man who built ideas of peace, and in some way, he had the opportunity to engage in dialogues regarding the demobilization of certain groups. He is also recognized for being a great humanist, a writer who may have translated works by José Saramago, with whom he ultimately developed a close friendship. José Saramago basically told him that the great fortune Belisario Betancourt had was being born poor, because not having the fortune of being born with wealth actually gave him greater fortune. In that exercise and play on words, Belisario was somehow marked during his years of retirement, when he was involved with prestigious universities such as the Pontifical Bolivarian University. He also carried out very emblematic works during his presidency, such as facilitating the donation of properties from important institutions in the municipality like the Hogar de Campesino Minero, the construction of the San Fernando High School, and other arrangements for neighborhoods in the municipality. Reading Belisario Betancourt is also a personal debt we owe, because of his unique way of writing, the way he shaped his thoughts, and also his disposition as an intellectual, a man of letters who dedicated all his efforts to building cultural art.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. This was the Amagá Library, Amagá with history. It's amazing, honestly, to get to know these people, the support from the community to showcase their culture, the culture of their town. I also think that's really awesome. And well, we're going to the old rails now. Let me show you the park again. Look at that, how beautiful. Honestly, it's one of the most beautiful parks I've ever visited. We're heading to the rails now, and really, it's wonderful to get to know the culture of all these places. Here we go, folks. Before heading to the rails, like I showed you that beautiful place back there, let's check it out from the inside. Because who knows what other adventures might be waiting for us over there, and it could end up taking a lot of time. So, this beauty, we're going to go inside and see what it's like, if it's just as beautiful and if it changes our perception. But honestly, I think it's going to be just as gorgeous. Guys, look at that view. It's insane, my friends. Let's keep quiet for a moment. And here it is. Wow. What an absolute and undeniable beauty, my dear friends, honestly. The vibrant and captivating colors, the truly magnificent and intricate architectural style. Just look closely. We've got a prominent white panel over there. I'm not entirely certain what its ultimate purpose is. Perhaps they are in the midst of constructing something new or undertaking a significant renovation. But the overwhelming majority of the structure, the rest of it, is truly and remarkably great. Honestly, it is undeniably and breathtakingly gorgeous. A true visual masterpiece that captures the eye and the imagination. Here we clearly see the confessional, a distinct and private space, and you can distinctly hear what sounds like the deep, resonant tones of organs playing, filling the air with a solemn and majestic sound. As you can observe, it features a kind of rich, deep violet decoration, which is quite striking and adds a sense of solemnity and regality to the structure. While I may not be an expert on the nuances of color theory, I must admit that this particular shade of violet is truly captivating and makes the confessional stand out in a remarkably wild and unique way. We also have the image of Christ above and the main doors. This would be the view of the town as you leave the church. It's crazy, it's beautiful, guys. And it didn't disappoint us. It's just as beautiful inside as it is outside. A very beautiful church, a truly gorgeous cathedral. I owe you the name, but I'll put it up for you. I'll put it in some little titles here so you know the name. Absolutely amazing. Alright folks, we're leaving Amagá now. We're heading to the Camino del Real. Ma'am, excuse me, how much do I owe you? Thank you so much, ma'am. How far is the Camino del Real from here? The Real, ma'am?
Yes, it leaves from over there.
A quarter, that's for sure. Over there's no problem at all. Nothing.
You go here, turn over there, look. When you see the cemetery, that's it.
There you arrive then.
Because the people are very kind, the people.
Alright, thank you so much. Alright folks, we've got the directions. We know where we're going now. We're heading to the Camino del Real, which I've also been told is really beautiful. Let's see how it goes, people. When I told you we had to climb, I meant climb. Look at this hill, folks. We're heading out toward the tracks. And check this out. This is where you get tired. Even the water gets tired here, like they say around here. Oh my God. But like I said, everything is beautiful, really amazing. So we just finished climbing up to the tracks. People. Look, this is the path to the old tracks. It literally feels like a place where cars don't even go, because it's full of little houses. It's more like a neighborhood and doesn't look like a road at all. So, oh my God, let's see where we end up. Because this is really strange. If not, look at this. We walked right by the houses, like right next to them, and this is where the path ends. Well, this is as far as we got. Alright, after getting lost, someone explained to us where the right path was, and look at this. Like my grandma used to say, it's just wilderness. But people, isn't this beautiful? This is just crazy. This is the route to the old tracks, right? Let's go. Guys, I ended up at what looks like a school. Wow, what a mess, good lord. So, Pelacadito loves me too, right? I ended up at what looks like a school, or something like that. I'm going to ask where the tracks are because I have no idea. And they told me it was around here somewhere. Let's ask at the white car down there.
Ready?
Okay, thanks. Alright folks, we're still a little lost. We have to keep going. And it's insanely sunny out here. So let's keep going. They said we have to go through some tunnels, some bridges, something or other, and then we'll get there. Let's see, folks. Guys, after a journey, an adventure, and a bunch of shortcuts, so to speak, because I've had to go through all sorts of places, we finally made it to this spot that's kind of like a tunnel or something. I don't know. It's weird. Look. Oh. It's like mining tunnels. It looks like they used to do mining here or something. I don't know. I know this is the old tunnel where the railroad used to pass through. It's lost until...
And valuable, shining gold.
Are we almost there? Did you hear that? Guys, we're close. Look, this is... how do they call it? Railroad viewpoint. I imagine we keep going that way. So, in that case, I think that... Oh God, they're making me a little nervous. So, in that case, I think we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from getting there. We're on our way. We're on our way. We've arrived. It's so natural. We're literally in the middle of the forest. I mean, that car barely fits through here. But guys, just wait for what I'm about to show you. This is crazy. At the end of the video, I'll show you the explanation. Look at this. Oh my goodness, this particular thing appears to be quite a bit dangerous, presenting a certain level of risk, yet simultaneously, it possesses an undeniable and breathtaking beauty. What an incredibly wild and untamed place this truly is, full of raw, natural splendor and a sense of thrilling unpredictability. But like I said, it's a little bit dangerous here. Look, you could very easily fall through one of these rather large holes, and it's a pretty long drop down. Let me see if I can just... Look. Wow. And that's the significant drop. You can truly see it much better here. Look closely. If you were to unfortunately fall from this considerable height, it's absolutely going to cause a great deal of pain and potentially serious injury. For those individuals who are genuinely afraid of heights, oh man, you most definitely better not even consider coming to this particular location. Look, it's absolutely crazy and quite astonishing. Since I inadvertently left my mobile phone in the car, allow me to show you another perspective. Let me show you the view once again. Look, if you carefully pause the video at this precise moment, you'll undoubtedly be able to see it a little bit more clearly and in greater detail. Alright, let's keep going. Let's continue. Now I've got my phone in hand. Here it says we're way too irresponsible. We're way too irresponsible, and we go in there anyway. But adventure just calls to us. Let's go, dude. Oh my God, it's Amanda. Let's take another really cool and absolutely amazing photo. Come on, guys. We're literally walking along a very narrow and precarious little edge. Look, that's the incredibly dangerous edge we're walking on. If you mess up while filming this, well, that's it. That's as far as you can possibly go. Break time equals 0.5s/. Alright, take the photo, guys. With this, here we are at the viaduct, and we're wrapping up the video, folks. That was us messing around. We're leaving the viaduct. It went well. At least we didn't fall because the drop was always huge, folks. And well, let me show you what the fall would be like. Let's see if you can see it. Man, it was always a long way down. Alright folks, this was Amagá, Antioquia, continuing with the challenge of traveling all over Colombia, third little town. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you next time.